Listen, this M.A.V, money and violence. The people respect both. You're now tuned in to the Renaissance Show.
All right, so you are now tuned in to the Renaissance Show. My name is Alex Kuchma, and I have here with me another very special guest, this time Rochester, New York, the Cloth. I'm talking to Maverick Montana, a.k.a. M.A.V. What's good, my dude?
What's happening with you, man?
Oh, man, everything's good on my end here. I said this at the beginning of the call, but I can't thank you enough, man, for taking the time out of your day to speak to me. I know you're a busy man, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. I think it's going to be a good one.
Likewise, I feel like that too.
Man, so over the last, I guess, couple years, really, you've been putting out mad work, and it's just album after album after album, year after year. But even if we're just talking about this year, 2021, you have a shit ton of work on the go, right? You have the album with Hobgoblin, you have you have 98 Miles with Sibs Rock and Asa and Eastwood. You have like 4 albums on the go, and the most recent album, of course, the one that just came out a week ago, is the album with Spanish Ran, Breakfast at Sue's. I just kind of wanted to ask, in terms of work ethic, how do you manage to put all this shit together? I understand that's a common thing in today's kind of movement, or this wave that we're seeing, is put out project after project after project. But at a certain point, it feels like you would run out of ideas. And if there's one thing that these projects do have, it's ideas. It's not just the same shit over and over and over again. You are really dwelling on different things and different topics. How do you stay so, I guess, active in terms of ideas and your work ethic?
Bro, I got 44 years of life under my belt. So I got 44 years worth of shit to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
I get to put a lot of my real life into it. I get to play with some ideas. You know what I'm saying? I've been a little bit of everything. So you know, my content can go a lot of different ways. And believe it or not, it's not as much work as you would think. This project has been done since last year. I'm a timing guy. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I like to watch the defense on the walkthrough. You know what I'm saying? And pick my shots. So I'm a timing guy. Me and Ram were finished with this project in like October, November of last year. And it just made the absolute most sense to release it this year around this time.
Gotcha. I assume at the same time you're also currently working and putting together more projects, and you're sitting on material. Then I would assume.
Absolutely. But like, if you know me or you've been in tune,
Sure.
then you know that I go to the studio maybe like once a month. I'm not like, you know what I'm saying, my team. I got some guys that pretty much live in the studio. So like, I go to the studio once a month. I knock off big chunks of work, and then I just relax, live life. And, you know, if I'm super excited about something, I'll go back in and knock something else out. But for the most part, I'm at a point where I go to the studio one time a month. You know what I'm saying? And I never really know when that is. But when I do figure it out, I give my engineer a call like a couple of days early and be like, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? We're going to punch in at about 8 a.m. And we're gonna get to it. We'll be there. I'll tell them we're going to be there for a few hours, or we're going to be there all day, one of the two. You know what I'm saying? That's always how it is.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always been really impressed when it comes to your discography is how, I guess, cohesive these projects are. And you work with a lot of different people. There's a big variety in terms of the collaborators that you fuck with. But at the same time, they're like one MC, one producer albums. Maybe like in terms of the Big Ghost project, it's you and Rob Gates. But it feels like these collaborative projects are they're cohesive. They're one theme, they're one kind of tone, they're one vibe all the way through. And you make these really, really solid projects. Like a lot of people that I feel just put out work after work after work, they're kind of messy in terms of doing so. But these projects, each album, each EP, feels like a crafted, solid piece of art that you're kind of releasing onto the world. Talk about, I guess, some of the variety in terms of the people that you work with and how you've went about doing that, because these, for the most part, you've collaborated with pretty much all the projects that you've been putting out. They're not really solo M.A.V albums for the most part.
Right. Pardon me. Hell, I think the first go round it was me and Finn. Got you. Yeah, me and Finn was for the most part just feeling each other out on Abracadabra. You know what I'm saying? He was some stuff. I would hear some stuff. I liked some stuff. I was able to work with it. You know, it wasn't like I was settling. I had
Sure.
no idea what type of arsenal Finn had. So, you know, he'd send a batch of beats, and I might like two out of that particular batch. And even when I sent the work back to him, those beats would morph into something more. You know what I'm saying? He'd just give me the skeleton, and then he would continue producing, you know, the beat after I sent him the verses or whatnot. And after that, I think he had did With All Due Respect with A-Sun.
Yeah.
And when I heard the production on A-Sun's project, I always bother A-Sun about that. Like, listen, man, I'm feeling the type of way, you know, about my production compared to your production. And the difference was, you know what I'm saying, A-Sun had the opportunity to sit right there with him. And he could either pick or choose, or, you know, they could cook something up on the spot or whatnot.
Sure.
And was sending me production or whatnot. So it's like an ongoing joke, you know what I'm saying, with me and A-Sun about With All Due Respect, the production on there. But me and Finn cooking up again. I like to keep it kind of close-knit with a few of the producers that I work with. So me and Finn actually going back to the well again, and we got another offering that'll be coming, possibly 2022 at some point. We in no rush. We slow roasting it. And it's a very different project. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's really promising. I feel like you mentioned a lot of the guys there, like Let It Be Danielson or Cypher Soze or Finn or Ason Eastwood, Sibs Rock. These are all cats that are north of the border in Toronto, or at least Toronto kind of area, GTA. But Canadian cats anyhow. And I feel like in a lot of cases, the people that you roll with in Rochester, like the cloth guys, you guys have a really solid relationship with the whole, let's say, gold era music and BBM shit. In Toronto, we talk about something like Riggs and Future Wave collaborating together for Substance Abuse, or Riggs and Mooch collaborating together for Boss Sauce. And then, of course, the albums that you've done as well. How did you guys end up getting linked to Toronto, and how did those relationships kind of come to be? Because it feels like more than anyone kind of south of the border, it's you guys that are fucking with, again, that gold era BBM shit.
Yo, it's crazy that you should mention that. When I first was introduced to them, it was through Family Gang Black.
Black Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Nazi. So he got dual citizenship. So
yeah,
he's from Rochester, but you know what I'm saying, he's from Canada as well. So with that being said, he had let me hear something that he had did, and the production behind it was crazy.
Was that ventilation,
again,
or was that pre-ventilation?
No, that's pre-ventilation.
Gotcha.
Yep, that's pre-ventilation. And I asked him about, you know, the production on it. He was like, that's my man, Future Wave. I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I mentioned the kid Future Wave to Riggs, and I reached out to Future Wave again. At this point in time, like, yeah, I'm rapping, but I'm doing a lot of other stuff behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still seeking out production for, you know, Riggs and the cloth, and I'm doing a lot of other things outside of me just being an artist. You know, that's what I'm doing the least at that point. And but the crazy thing is, like, when I reached out, he left me on red. Yeah, Future Wave left me on red. And I ain't say nothing crazy, you know what I'm saying? It was just an inquiry, but you know what I'm saying? He left me on red or whatnot. And hell, that shit didn't materialize. You know, nothing materialized there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that at some point, that's when the Paul Bears track came about. And maybe, and this is just me talking, maybe that's what piqued the interest on the other side of the border to be like, yo, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Then the wheels started turning from there. But like originally, you know what I'm saying? My effort to connect with them, you know what I'm saying, was like a shot in the dark. You know what I mean? I ain't afraid to say that. You know what I'm saying? I reached out, and now Future Wave left me on red. Matter of fact, yo, Future Wave left me on red, and I communicated with Daniel's son as well, and Daniel's son as well left me on red. Right, both of them.
Oh man, I love those dudes. I love the music that they end up making, but that's hilarious.
Likewise, they very talented brothers over there. You know, Future Wave. You know what I'm saying? One of the hottest producers doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? And you know that shit probably ain't gonna change. And DS, you know, just uncanny with what he do.
100%.
So you know what I'm saying? He's very, very talented. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we have long since gotten past that left on red shit. You know what I'm saying? I only hold a grudge when it's really worth holding. You know what I mean? But I never hold no grudge about no music shit. It is what it is. I might have somebody. The crazy thing is, I try to reach out. You know what I'm saying? To reach back to everybody. Sometimes that shit backfire, and I had to block somebody to get a little boost. But listen, anybody you know that is in my DMs, you know what I'm saying, with the exception of goofy shit, like I reply to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's important to make that connection with my audience. You know what I'm saying? I can't accommodate everything, but you know what I'm saying? I do my best to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that we have an individualized, you know what I'm saying, connection, and not some cookie cutter shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll put out music and you buy it and that's it. You know what I mean? That's trash to me.
Man, I think that's really important in terms of, I guess, that intimate relationship between the fan and the artist. And I think especially for underground artists in general, that's important, right? And I don't think it necessarily needs to get done through responding to DMs, but you want the artist, or you want the fan to know who the artist is, right? We talk about people that have huge fan bases, people that even like I'm not like a huge Tech9 fan, for example, but there's no doubting the fact that what Tech9 has done with Strange Music is incredible, and the fandom that he has with that is incredible. And that's just one example, but the fans of that label of Tech9, they know who he is, right? Like through music. It doesn't necessarily mean that he reaches out and talks to all of his fans individually, but when you listen to a Tech9 album, when you listen to his discography, you really get a true sense of who he is. And I feel like that relationship, feeling like you know the artist that you're a fan of, is important. It's definitely important if you want to end up making a living off of this thing and have fans buy your music. Fans aren't going to buy your music if they don't know shit about you. Well, maybe they will, right, but not with the same numbers.
Real shit. They might like the way it sounds and purchase it, but like if there's nothing, you know what I'm saying, if there's no real connection, then they stream it. You know what I mean? But they damn sure ain't gonna give you their money.
Yeah, 100%. They're not going to be super interested to go see your shows, or just like be an active fan, right? Be the guy that goes around and spreads your shit to other people and says, "Oh man, you have to go check out this M.A.V dude and check out the shit that he did with Finn. Go check out all this shit," right? Like you're not going to have that sort of excitement over an artist if you don't feel like you know him or have any sort of connection to him. And like I said, I think there's numerous ways that you can achieve that. I think being responsive is definitely one of them. But I think it shows in the music as well. And I think it shows in someone like you. Like, I think you stand out a lot when it comes to the cloth. I pretty much love everyone that's out of that whole camp. So when it comes to like Riggs and Mooch, like I love their shit. But a lot of your stuff hits a little bit more kind of personal. I guess it's less. I guess maybe it's more dimensional, and it feels like there's a little bit more substance when it comes to some of the concepts that you derive at, some of the stories and themes that you're covering. It feels like these are kind of, again, like well-crafted conceptual pieces. These are ideas that are being put to paper that have merit. They're not just the same shit bar after bar after bar, song after song. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I love Riggs and Mooch and a lot of the other dudes like Rob Gates that are on that roster. And I love that type of rap in general. Like I think Conway the Machine is someone that just does the same shit all the time. Like every once in a while you get something more personal, but for the most part, A Conway track
shit
is a Conway
I
shit, but it's
love.
so dope. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's my favorite shit in the world. And if you're watching this in video, like I got the records on the wall here. I got Boss Sauce. I got Substance Abuse. I got Soul by Ace on Eastwood. I got these projects, and I'm a fan of this rap music in general. But look at something like the new project that you have out with Spanish Ran, Breakfast at Sue's. It's an incredibly conceptual piece. I talk about the concept and the idea going into that record, because I think it's an important one that people should check out for. I think musically it sounds dope, but I think again it's a fairly thematic album.
Right. Believe it or not, I got that idea to do that particular album and theme it the way it's themed. Yeah. Even give it the name that we gave it, based on a tweet by Ace from Fresh Vision. He owns Fresh Vision Productions. He did a lot of videography work, you know what I'm saying? He basically cloth, you know what I mean? He put up a tweet saying that anytime you go to the breakfast spot, you're bound to see an op. And I thought about it. Like, you know what? He's right. Just about any time you go to like one of the breakfast spots here in Rochester, you have a probability, there's a probability, a high one, that you might run into somebody that you have tension with, you know what I'm saying? Because there's not many places to go. Rochester's, as big as it is, it's really, really small. So like if you got a beef with somebody, even if you don't run into him today or tomorrow, when you go pick your mom up from church,
yeah,
he probably didn't pick his mom up from church, or he might be walking his mom down the church steps, you know? If you go shopping, you know, there's a show coming or something, you're going to get fly, 9 times out of 10, you and the guy that you button heads with shop at the same stores, you know, so you're going to run into each other. So when Ace put that tweet up there, I kind of took it and ran. I don't even remember when me and Rand started working after, you know, how long it was after that tweet that me and Rand started working. But that definitely was the match,
the catalyst, yeah,
that set the fire. It was Fresh Vision. It was Ace, and you know, there's a couple of joints in between the songs. You hear like conversation. And you could tell that they're in like diners or like breakfast places, you know, so you can hear, you know, and you're hearing real live conversation. What I did like a lot of times is, and some of them conversations crazy, but some of those times I just came in the studio and put my phone down and hit the record button and didn't say anything to anybody. And we just talked, you know what I'm saying? We just went through shit. I'm the only one that know that it's recording, because I wanted it to be as genuine as possible.
Yeah.
And I knew I'd be able to pick and choose some shit off of some of the conversations. We have some funny conversations. If Rob Gates in there, it's going to be some wild shit said, you know what I'm saying, at any given time.
Sure.
You know, you don't know if you should shut the recorder off or what, but like, you know what I'm saying? Anything bound to happen. You know, if Mooch in there, you're going to be laughing. So, yeah, man, I wanted to keep it as authentic as possible, as well as play with the breakfast theme throughout. You know, we post the pancakes often, you know what I'm saying? And for like a week straight, every morning I had like a breakfast themed story where, you know, I tagged everybody and, you know, did this and that, you know, just to draw some more attention to the project. But,
yeah,
you know, you put some life in there, you have some fun with some, you know, some different concepts, and, hell, Breakfast at Sue's is what you got.
You had mentioned the term tension earlier. You said that when you go into these breakfast spots, you're bound, or at least there's a high likelihood that you're going to run into these individuals, that there's possible conflict and there's going to be tension. That term came up when I was listening to this project a lot. I think of a song like Takeout. It was probably the song that first really, really grabbed my attention, that I had to rewind. I had to just kind of sit and meditate with that song a little bit. But it felt like, to me, when I was listening to that song, I was blown away. It was like I had never heard a song with that much suspense. It felt like a Hitchcock movie, and it was the story, but every beat of the story added tension to the next beat. Right? There's a moment in the song where you end up connecting eyes with a girl, and there's an immediate kind of acknowledgement that you two had been together before, but the guy that she's with is now able to start to put these pieces together. And again, it just starts this tension rolling. And the way even Spanish Ran is able to craft one of those beats, it's like this slow kind of chugging along. There's this tension building up instrumentally, but also as you're going through, even your tone of voice, it's this kind of coldness, it's this calculation, it's you sitting down and meditating behind the scenes and looking around, being hyper aware of your surroundings, knowing shit's about to go down, and just being in that moment. And it really feels like this meditative aspect of this moment, right? You're trying to articulate everything that's going on in your head as this moment is really unfolding at the breakfast spot. You use the term tension again, and it's just that it perfectly encapsulates what I took away from this project.
You ever been in one of the moments? Not necessarily with that scenario, but like, you ever been in the moment?
Yeah, I have. Just knowing that, not at a breakfast spot for sure, but I've been in moments where I know that shit's going to go down and I'm on the wrong end of it. And you're hyper aware. You're looking for exits. You're looking for ways out. You're rationalizing in your head how things are going to go down. You're playing those conversations, again, just in your head over and over and over again. You're trying to make it through that moment. It hit home in a lot of ways. Not necessarily that it was the most like relatable thing, but it put you in that moment. It 100% did. Like I said, I think it's probably the most suspenseful hip hop song I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard a song done quite like that. It felt like I was watching a Hitchcock movie, and that's on Takeout, but that's not exclusive to that song either. I think that song does it exceptionally well, but there's a lot on this album that has that feeling. Because
we revisit that same situation later on in another song.
Yep.
Yeah. When I get the phone call, So it's when you're in the moment may seem like, you got several minutes and you got time, but like really, like all of those emotions and all of those thoughts, they play out in seconds, because you don't get to determine when, you know what I'm saying, when the enemy gonna encroach on your peace. That's not up to you. So all of those emotions, all of those thoughts, they happen fast. You figure it out. Damn, there go old girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, old boy looking at me crazy. He must have noticed the way she was looking at me. Like, all of this shit will play out quick. All of it will play out real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then immediately you feel that tension. Yeah. Between you and old boy. He got to look at you all tough, and our guys are. I might have been the guy looking at somebody tough. You know what I'm saying? But most cases, the guy that somebody was looking tough at.
Man, that was also the song that made me kind of start to think, wait, what I'm hearing here as a total package, as a total album, is there's shit that's starting to get tied together. You mentioned that song and that kind of scene gets revisited later on in the album, but it's more than that, right? It's the Takeout starts off with a little skit. It's the diner skit. You're ordering food. I forget the exact order, of course, but it's grapes, whole wheat, anyhow. And then you realize in the verse you recall that information, and it's continuing that story that was set up in the intro. And then the following song after that, you also kind of go into it's the same order. And it made me replay this album and notice the start of the album, how it starts off with the intro. You're talking about how one scene, one story can be perceived by multiple individuals, and each individual that's present they're the only ones that really hold the story within them. They're the only ones that have that story, period. But each of them have a different story based off of that scene that they were involved in. And then the one that's favored for whatever reason is usually the story that goes in and kind of gets run with. Going through the album after hearing that intro and kind of sitting it down, you start to see that there's these scenes that are happening from different perspectives, and you're being able to kind of judge almost how history is done. I'm a history student. That's what I'm doing. I'm just finishing up my undergrad in history, and I do a lot of this reading, and it really does feel like this is kind of a public history statement about how history is practiced and done. You have all these stories that you look at in terms of primary sources. I'm conducting an oral history project in terms of Canadian hip hop right now, and I've been doing so over the last few years. And I interview all these people that were involved in the scene in Saskatoon or Vancouver or Victoria or Halifax or Toronto. And I'm interviewing these people, and they're all telling me the same story often, but from different sides and different perspectives. And now I have to sit back and say, okay, well, now I have to make sense of these different stories, these different anecdotes. How do I go about doing that? And I felt like this album kind of touched on that process in a way. And I felt not only was it a creative project, not only were the songs dope, but it was thought-provoking. It was truly thought-provoking. I took a lot from this album. It's one of my favorite albums that I've heard so far this year. And I said this at the beginning of the call, but it's got consistent replay over the past week, and I know it's going to end up getting replay throughout the end of the year. Like this is in rotation 100%. It's a really, really solid album.
I appreciate that, man, and that's pretty much what we planned. I'm assuming everybody plans that for an album, but for me this was a little different. It was going to be the first album that was coming out under All Things M.A.V. And it had just that much more importance to me. You know what I'm saying? That the rollout, the content, and everything was, you know what I'm saying, truly something that was going to capture the ear and make sure the audience wanted to, you know, get involved with this project.
Yeah.
And so far, that's exactly what it's been. I usually give a project, not necessarily me giving a project anything, but a project, it seems like usually has like anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 solid weeks before it's, you know, everybody on to the next. And we about to work this for the next couple of months.
Man, I think a project like this deserves it. It's not a project that you can listen to once over and pick up everything. It's just not. And I think a lot of projects are probably done that way to a degree, right? You can't pick up everything upon first listen, regardless of what album it is. But an album like this really begs the listener to revisit, to meditate, to think about it, and to take their time with it, right? Get into a good headspace. Don't just put this shit on in the background. I think it works in the background. I think it's a solid, like musically, I think this is a dope album. I think the bars individually are dope bar for bar, but it's a lot more than that. This is a really special album, and coming out of DeCloth, I think this album stands out. I love DeCloth. Like I said, like you guys are honestly like some of my favorite cats in the underground right now, and just the music in general. Like I pick up almost everything that you guys put out. I love it, and I'm going to continue to do so. But this album does stand apart. It's different.
I appreciate that, bro. Truly.
You mentioned that this was the first album that was out on All Things M.A.V. Talk about what that is, All Things M.A.V. Is that just a website that you're and kind of label that you're driving forward? What is All Things M.A.V.?
Well, All Things M.A.V. is my website, and at some point it will eventually become my label, and not to house other artists. Because if you know me, then you know I'm definitely the cloth. That doesn't change.
Okay.
But this will be like where you will find all things related to just me.
Why not stick
to
DeCloth's website?
Re-release. What'd you say?
Why not stick to DeCloth's website? Like the Fix Tape is on there. There's a couple other projects that are on there. It seems like a fine outlet to release music. Why go in this direction? Why did you feel that was necessary?
Because I'm an individual as well as, a team player.
Sure. And
I need to have outlets where the audience can understand and know me as an individual, see what I have to offer instead of being put in a situation where they could possibly get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on over there. We have several members. So you have Rob Gates projects over there.
Yeah.
You have Moose's projects over there. You have Riggs's projects over there. You have Soft's projects over there. But I just felt like I needed, you know what I'm saying, something for my own. I needed to build something for myself.
Gotcha. So what's coming up? So you mentioned that you have a project with Finn that's kind of in the works or in the bag. What can we expect over the next little while in terms of M.A.V material? So far this year, 4 albums deep. It doesn't seem like you have any signs of slowing that down. What's coming up in the next foreseeable future?
Man, I'm probably gonna try to stick to like maybe 2 projects a year. Maybe if I do something really, really short with somebody, you know what I'm saying, I might allow a situation for somebody else to release something or, you know, partner up one way or another. But me, myself, I'm probably going to stick to like 2 projects a year, and I'm just going to work those. I got to get really excited about a situation, you know what I'm saying, for me to just go balls to the walls with it. Like, I can stop now and I could release it. If I decided to just stick to my 2 projects a year without doing anything else, without writing another bar at all, I could probably release 2 projects for the next 2-3 years, 2.5 years comfortably without writing another song.
Wow, that's so much material, man. It's so much to look forward
right.
to. Like I said, I'm a fan.
I cut
I'm
a lot
fan
of
of
shit
everything
out,
that
you know
do.
what I'm saying?
Not only do you put out these projects after projects after project, but you're appearing on almost everyone else's album too, right? Like, not just the cloth material, but you're on so much shit, like, all the time. Like, it's hard to find an album out of this wave, out of this scene that doesn't have a M.A.V feature on it. It's like legitimately a difficult thing to do.
I'm like that boxer who, like, you can call short notice and be like, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? The challenger for the title fight, you know what I'm saying? He hurt himself sparring.
Yeah.
And we need somebody to stand in. I'll come take that title off you.
The other thing to note is
that it's ready.
It's not just one thing that you do, right? Like, you do these,
not at all.
You do these great verses, but you're also amazing on the hook. Like, I'm thinking things like 3 a.m. from that big Ghost, Riggs, and Mooch album. The hook there is incredible. The way that your voice is able to carry a feeling and emotion in just a few words, it's stellar. It really is. It makes that song.
Really appreciate that.
And that's something that you're capable of doing, and there's not very many people that really are, but you have a really unique voice for that type of thing, but you're also able to just end up putting out insane verses and do it very, very well. So it's not like a one-trick pony, man. You're able to do a lot of different shit.
And that's important to me. That's very important to me, to not be a one-trick pony. I don't want to box myself in. If you listen to, like, the Angels and Demons projects,
yes,
I give you a lot. I talk about you know what I'm saying? I talk about, you know, battling my demons, and I give you the street shit, but I give you love. I give you infidelity. I give you a lot of situations where it's like, oh shit. But like, when you live a certain type of life, you kind of put yourself in position to amass all of these tales. But like, your real life shit becomes somebody else's stress at some point. You know what I'm saying? And I just pour all of that into, you know, those volumes. I give you a little bit of everything. I talk about, you know what I'm saying, the relationship with my grandmother. I talk about missing my grandfather and being thankful to who he was. You know what I'm saying? When, you know, I had an absentee father. Talk about a lot of shit, bro. I talk about a lot of shit. But I'm the one-trick pony, definitely not that. Definitely not that.
Man, I'm looking forward to everything that you end up coming out with going forward. And for those that are listening at home that haven't really done their homework and haven't listened to everything that M.A.V has put out, go do your homework, man. Just check the shit out. You're gonna end up loving it. If you're watching the show for whatever reason, or you've liked something that DeCloth has done in the past, regardless of the artist on that roster, you're gonna like everything that M.A.V puts out. The dude's really, really dope, and it's almost like you keep getting better. Like I said, this Breakfast at Sue's album, I don't know, man, it just hit different. It really did. And a song like Takeout, for example, which is my favorite song off the album, but that doesn't take anything away from anything else. Like it's perfection. It's like one of the greatest shit that has ever hit my ears. Like, it's so good. I love the fact that I'm on the phone with you right now and being able to go over this shit with you, because it honestly is. It's great. I'm not just trying to dick ride. I'm not just trying to like hype you up because I'm talking to you now. This is amazing, and I've tried to share this shit with everyone that I possibly know.
Oh, that's fire. I truly appreciate that. And one of the things you'll find out about me, man, you ain't got to be doing an interview. You can holler at me about anything at any time. You know what I'm saying? I don't usually give my number out. So when you got it, like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you're good.
Man,
you can holler at me a month from now, like, hey, man, I've got a quick question. You know, I got fans who have my number, and they don't like harass me or be on no bullshit. They'll just be like, yo, boom, just curious, you know, yada, yada, yada. Listen, I take the time to you know what I'm saying, reach back.
Man, I appreciate that. I would definitely love to be able to have you on in the future whenever you have more material coming up or coming out, just to be able to go into those projects with a little bit more depth individually. Like I said, you've never really disappointed on my end here, and going forward, I'm sure the future projects are going to be just as dope. So I'd love to have you back on in the future whenever you do have new material to talk about.
Shit, I'll be glad to, you know what I'm saying, show up. We can talk about some stuff.
So where can people find you social media wise? Where can people stay up to date with new M.A.V music? Of course, what did you say the name of the website was? All Things M.A.V?
All Things M.A.V.
Okay.
With things with a Z. allthingsmav.com.
Gotcha.
That's where you can find, you know what I'm saying, everything related to me musically. There's a dope mix that's on there for free. It's about 2.5 hours of music compiled by Matt the Vinyl Hunter.
Oh, shit. Are we possibly going to be able to get that on tape? I know he did the Future Wave and the Daniel Son collection. I just pre-ordered the Daniel Son collection. I hope that's here soon. I think he actually had them in hand. Are we possibly going to get a M.A.V. DJ Hunter collection volume 3 tape? Is that
I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a super dope idea. And as of recently, you know what I'm saying, I've definitely been into putting some tapes together. But it's not an idea that me and Matt have talked about. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? At least not as of yet. But I just thought it was, you know, it was amazing that somebody was that in tune with me to take it upon themselves to sit and find what songs were compatible with what. Like, it's 2 hours and some change of music. I actually was listening to it. And if anybody who knows me know that you'll never see me pull up in the car listening to my shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's real narcissistic. Riggs be like, yo, that's why you don't know the words to none of the songs, because you don't listen enough.
Love it.
He'd be like, yo, listen, you know the words to this? I'd be like, nah, just send it to me. I'll listen to it a couple of times, so I'll figure it out. But yeah, he'd be like, that's why you don't know the words to nothing, because you don't listen to nothing. And I usually don't. Believe it or not, I don't. I don't listen to anything beyond the
recording sessions, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I listen to the recordings. I listen to the mixes. But, like, once the full project is out, like, I'm done on my end. Every now and then when I get an opportunity to hear something, I'll be like, yo, that's tough. And they be like, yeah, that's you. I'm like, yeah, I know. I did it. That's my shit. But, like, you know, I don't sit around listening to me. But, yeah, I don't. But I also don't listen to anybody else either, especially while I'm creating.
Fair enough.
I don't want any influences, period. I just want, you know what I'm saying, life and my mind and my, you know what I'm saying, just whatever I'm going through, my emotions. That's all. You know, so many people be like, hey, did somebody else say this? I never want to be, in that position. You know what I'm saying? I just want everything to be free flow, and I'm good with no outside interference. Again, that messes with my peace. And I'm big on that.
Fair enough.
I'm real big on that. No interference, no outside interference. You know, life has been a roller coaster ride within itself. I don't want anything else in the way.
Yeah, no distractions. Get your ideas,
None.
articulate them onto paper, and let it be that.
Oh, right, that.
Man.
Like just so you know how that works for me.
Yeah.
I think I was in the middle of recording. Me and Rob Gates were in the middle of recording the Big Ghost project.
Yep.
One day I went into the studio. I sent out a couple of beats to get features on prior for the Hoodlum project with Giallo Point.
Oh, another.
And I recorded the whole Giallo Point project in one session.
Wow.
Just one day, just like, you know, I was there for about 8 hours. I recorded the whole project.
Did you have it written beforehand, or was that all?
I wrote a couple of joints right there on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Just based on, you know, the temperature.
Yep.
And I always come to the studio prepared. Yep, I always come to the studio prepared.
Gotcha.
So, yep, I think, matter of fact, that day I think I had stopped. We had stopped, got breakfast, and me and Speed came in there, and I just needed to change the pace, you know, for a little bit. Like, we had been recording for maybe about 2-3 weeks. We had been recording stuff for the Big Ghost project, and it just felt good. It felt like after lunchtime for the kids, when they get a chance to go outside on recess, as soon as they hit the door, they run. You know what I mean? And I had all of these beats from Giallo, and that's pretty much what I did. I just ran wild on all of that production because it was a totally different sound. So it gave me a break from, you know, Big Ghost production, and I got a chance to splash on Giallo's production. So I recorded that whole project, but then I was refreshed and ready to get back to recording Dark Side of Nature. You know what I'm saying? With Gates for the Big Ghost project.
Yeah.
So that's when I truly have it my way, we capable of doing stuff like that.
Man, it's a beautiful thing. All the respect, all the accolades, all the critical acclaim, all the love and fan base that you've acquired over the last few years. It's well deserved, man. The shit that you've been putting out is absolutely fantastic. And it's not just you either, but everyone that you end up rolling with. Like, you roll with a really kind of top tier collective, not just with the cloth, but with everything else that you end up doing as well. Let it be Ace on Eastwood or Sibs Rock or Finn. These are well respected names within their own kind of fields. Someone like Big Ghost, of course. Like, these are the titans of this shit right now, and you're right in there. You're right in there.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to kill a few guys.
Yeah.
And that's what the last few years was about. You know what I'm saying? You go into the arena, it's just one thing to be like, oh yeah, this guy can rap, you know, but shit, everybody can rap. Just some guys rap better than others. But once you kill a few guys, shit be different. You know, some guys don't have an opportunity to get into the arena with, you know what I'm saying, Ason, with DS, you know, with just some of these guys. I got shit with guys that I haven't even put out yet that I've been sitting on. Not for any particular reason. Like I said, I'm a timing guy. And I got joints with Crime Apple, Rome. There's a lot of shit, Ransom. Just, you know, holding on to a lot of stuff for no particular reason. Just, you know, I build projects. I don't just record a gang of shit and then be like, yeah, let's press it up. Nah, I build projects. It got to feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing with this? Like, how we gonna roll this out? Like, that's important to me, and that's becoming more and more important to me, you know, as time goes on, because I personally feel like, you know what I'm saying, my time doing music, at least from an artist's position, is is nearing an end.
What do
So with
you
that
mean
being
by that?
said, that I'm only going to be doing this rap shit for so long. Like I said, I got enough to give you at least a couple of more years without writing another word. So I want to clean my slate as an artist, and I don't really pile too much more on my slate than, you know what I'm saying, what I have. And at some point, I'm gonna get back behind the desk and, you know what I'm saying, see what kind of contributions I can make from another angle. But you know what
Gotcha.
I'm saying, I probably only got a few more years left of rapping. If it was up to me, I would have taken this whole year off and did something different. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm one of those guys, and it's just me talking. You know, only time could tell. But I feel like I'm one of those guys who can take a year or two off without writing a bar, and then I can hop back on the bike and get the ride. You know what I'm saying? Might even win a few races. I was away from music for about 7 years, and this is as far as it got. You know what I'm saying? Without me.
Sure.
You see where I'm going with it? To be away for
Yeah.
7 years, I'm not listening. I'm not looking for anybody. I'm not checking for anybody. But here I am, right here in the thick of this shit.
So if you're looking at getting a few more years out of the rapping thing and commit yourself to that for the next few years, and then maybe step away and do something else, what do you ultimately want out of your rap career? Like, what's going to be that deciding factor in 3 years from now? You look back and say, "Hey, I did what I want to do." What do you want to do?
Listen, if I didn't say another rap, ever, I've already done what I set out to do.
You're
My
satisfied?
sister was yeah, absolutely. My sister was my inspiration as a kid. I heard my sister rapping live on radio one night. I went to a sleepover, and she had took me to the sleepover. She wasn't even supposed to be gone, but she went to the radio station with her friend, and me and her friend's little brother were playing. We were in the house alone, and the radio was on. You know, they had, of course, left the radio on to the station that they listened to, which is the station that they went to.
Sure.
And while we were playing, I heard my sister on the radio rapping. And, like, it was at that moment, like, that was the first person I personally knew on the radio. And I knew that at some point I wanted to do that. And that's, you know, something I've accomplished. That's, you know, nowadays that's small. You know, we've been on some of the biggest radio stations in, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of different cities at this
Sirius
point.
XM, DJ Premier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Legends.
So
yeah.
we've done that. You know, we've had, you know, millions of ears just being able to have conversations on live radio, satellite radio with people listening all over the world.
Yeah.
But you know, I've done music videos. I wanted to be, at some point, when the conversation took place in the neighborhood, I wanted somebody to be like, yo, what about M.A.V? Like, M.A.V dope.
Yeah.
I got kids all over the place, you know, and a bunch of other cities like, nah, M.A.V fire, M.A.V, you know, this, that. So, like, listen, when it came to music, you know what I'm saying? Like, my goals weren't nearly as big as a lot of other people's goals, you know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
But, like, in life, period, I've always checked off, you know what I'm saying, whatever was on my list. And I feel like that if I wasn't able to do it anymore for whatever the reason was, then, you know what I'm saying, I feel like my catalog will speak for itself. It's a pretty strong catalog. When people come across it, they be like, damn, where's this dude? And somebody could tell the story like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? He crossed off all of the boxes and he decided that he wanted to do something, and I could live with that.
Yeah, man, well said. There's a line from A$AP Rock off his song No Regrets where he says, look, I ain't never had a dream in my life, because a dream is what you want to do and still haven't pursued. I knew what I wanted and I did it till it was done, so I've been the dream that I've wanted to be since day one. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, real shit.
Never had that dream because you've done what you wanted to do and you set out to do it and you got it done right away. And you've been that dream that you've wanted to be right from the very beginning.
Listen, check this out. This gonna fuck with your head. Listen, I had a conversation during the Blueprint 3 show. So at this show they had Trey Songz, Jeezy, Jay, of
Yep.
course, you know, it's his concert.
Yep.
But I had a conversation with Jay for probably about 10 minutes. And like it was in that moment that I knew that like I'm never really awestruck. I'm never starstruck, but I also know that like being a rapper is not something that I really, really want to pursue. You know what I'm saying? To that magnitude. The one thing that we did not talk about is me being an artist.
In terms of visual art?
No, it's in terms of
Just
talking to
the
Jay
whole
Z about me
package?
being a rapper.
Gotcha.
Right?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Never talked about. Just like, you know, one of the most awkward. It wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was an awkward moment, but like leaving out of the TD Garden Arena, like all of the people, like we were having this conversation on the jumbotron, so like everybody there, you know what I'm saying? It's like dialed in.
Yeah.
I almost thought I needed security leaving. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's like, yo, there you go. That's dude, you know, yada, yada, yada. But, like, it was in that moment that, I truly knew, like, you do everything that you put your mind to well. And, like, this obviously is not one of those things that you plan on doing, you know, on that tier. Listen, if it happened,
Sure.
and it would truly have to happen on like a major, you know what I'm saying, level for me to be like, all right, you know what I'm saying, this is really worth me reconsidering. This is life-changing.
Well, do you feel
Listen,
like you've got
everything
close to that in any kind of degree? Like, you think about people even outside of this wave. So someone like Vinny Paz, for example, he's tuned into what you're doing to some degree, right? You're on Vinny's material.
Absolutely.
There's clearly a respect from outside of this kind of inner scene or inner community. You're starting to see
Truly.
your name be talked about and spread outside of this thing. I feel like that's the steps that you kind of need in order to break into kind of what you're talking about. Or are you just talking about, I guess, very much mainstream attention on a Conway level?
No, listen, I'm talking about like overall, like when I hang my hat up the next time, it is truly hung up for good.
Sure.
Like there is no coming back. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to focus on being a husband. I'm going to focus on being a father. And I'm going to know that I've done everything that I wanted to do musically and be comfortable with whatever decisions that I made. You know what I'm saying? I always told my nephew, I always told Riggs, like, listen, I'm here as long as you need me to be here. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm a team player. So I'm going to put up 20 points if you need me to put up 20 points. But I'm also going to sweep the arena at the end of the night if that's what the cloth need me to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick up the trash in the parking lot if that's what the cloth need me to do. If you need me to crash the boards, I'm going to crash the boards, you know. But even in that sense, at some point, you know what I'm saying? Like my role has to change.
That's fair. Man, once again, thank you so much for coming on. We'll wrap things up there. Again, for those listening at home, all things M.A.V with a Z, or Z if you're in America, .com. And what's your Instagram and Twitter? Like, are you on Instagram, Twitter all that often? Like, should we talk about that too?
On Instagram, I shut my Twitter down. I start reading a lot of goofy things where I start typing and then I start erasing what I was typing because everything doesn't deserve a response. And that was one of those moments where I knew that I really didn't need it. I didn't need a Facebook. I didn't need it. You know, I didn't need Twitter any longer. So it's the business in M.A.V. The DA business end _ M.A.V. Just like the cloth. That's where you'll be able to find me on Instagram, but there is no Twitter, there is no Facebook, there is no Snapchat, that's it.
Gotcha.
Other than that, I'm going to continue to build all things M.A.V, and that's all things, ALL, things with a Z, M.A.V.com. I'm going to continue to build that, and maybe that's where I could have some conversations at. You know what I'm saying? I'll add a blogging spot where I can communicate back and forth with the fan base and the customers, and you know, maybe we could talk there.
Man, that would be amazing. I'm tuned into everything that you end up doing in the future. Having a place where I can read your ideas outside of lyrics. I'm totally down for that as well. I think that's a great idea. Again, for those that are listening at home, do your homework. Check out Breakfast at Sue's. Check out all the other shit that he's done this year and years previously as well. And stay on the lookout for new shit. Allthingsmav.com with a Z. Check it out.